Hi Jesse, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Feeling alright.
A lot of people know you because of your duet with Bruce Springsteen and Rodeo Queens with members of Green Day. But today I really want to talk about you because you're just as much as an inspiration as, for example, Bruce Springsteen or Billy Joe Armstrong. To me, music is an escape. I can totally get lost in music. What does music mean to you?
I would say music is an escape, but it's also it's a way of life. It's an attitude. It's a feeling. It's a soundtrack for our life every day. For me, it's what's been my medicine, get me through. It's been empowering, and it's let me know. It's spoken to me. It's been a message, but it's definitely a feeling. And there's good and bad music. There's a lot of bad out there, but it's always what I turn to from when I was a kid till now for. Things to lead me into other situations, bettering myself or my friends.
Okay. So when you write your music, what moves you to write that particular song? I mean, do you write about personal experiences and about something you felt at that time?
I'm always observing and writing little notes in a notebook, and I like to walk around and just take in things. And sometimes, watching a film or even listening to another record or going out to a show, or sometimes memories. I put down a lot of ideas, and then I pick up the guitar, and some of that stuff just comes out, stream of consciousness, free forming. And you don't know exactly what it is, but you got a piece of it, and then you go and dig in deeper, and you kind of finish it up. It's like dotting the I's, crossing the T's. That's the harder part. But it comes from life. I think you need to have things coming into your life. You need to challenge yourself. I mean, that's what's great about traveling and meeting strange people and being out of your comfort zone. If you're too comfortable, then sometimes you just do the same things. But you need to challenge yourself sometimes. And then sometimes it comes from sadness or aggression or sex or whatever, things that just move us. And then having that guitar and these melodies, sometimes you don't even know where they come from. So.
It's good to get it out.
Yeah.
So when you write that music, are you the only one that you have to please?
I think number one, I mean, you're aware that there's an audience, people buy my records and have making records for a long time. So, there's several Jesse Malin records and they're different, they change, but it still has to be me, which I think it, always is, but I think you want to be happy first. That's why I do this more than anything, is to please myself. If I don't enjoy it, how am I going to go out there and make someone else believe it? So.
Yeah, kids and teenagers nowadays, they have such a bad reputation. What do you think about them? Like, how would you describe yourself as a teenager and now you look back at those days?
I was a lot angrier when I was a teenager. I was like, mad at the world, and mad at my school, and the people in my town, and I had to really prove myself. And I think I'm still mad at times with mainstream society and the norm and things that hurt people, government and religion. Pardon me. Things that bring us down, I think. But as a kid, I wanted it all. There's a Ramones song called I Wanted Everything. And it's like, we just wanted to know. We got on trains and we went distances to find places we wanted to know about the history of music that we like, where it came from, who produced the records, who wrote the songs. We wanted to know about, love and sex and girls and, just seeing bands and how everything worked, equipment and guitars and also a lot of the groups I listened to were talking about things I didn't have no idea about, being some little white American kid in the suburbs. Bands like The Clash would come and talk about all this great music, like reggae and ska and calypso and salsa and jazz, and then they talk about what was going on in Central America, U.S. imperialism, sexism. So a lot of the bands, through rock and roll, through a good energetic rhythm and melody and stuff, open our minds to think about other things that we might want to look into. What is he saying? Who's that? Who's Federico Lorca? And it made you do the homework. So okay. I was really interested as a kid in checking shit out, learning something.
And if you could go back to, let's say when you were 15 or 16 years old, with the knowledge that you have now, what would you change?
I probably would practice a little bit more than I did even. I would think I'd be more open. It was very one-track mind, punk rock. I was into like just, I threw away all my rock records. I was just very much part of the hardcore scene and, the politics behind that. And I think I would maybe be more accepting of other things, other influences, just more open instead of being on that one track in a very militant way, which I guess you need to do when you're a kid. Sometimes you need to really hold on tight and go, this is me, and this is what I'm into, and, whatever, look at me. But I think there's a lot of colors, a lot of different things that I might have missed out by being so one-sided.
What did you do before you started this band?
Band right now, Jesse Malin has been me, myself, and Irene. It's been a solo career since 2001 or 2, maybe 2002. And I've had different musicians play with me. Some the same on a lot of records, but definitely it's me alone. It's a nice little band. Before that, I was in a group called D-Generation, and we played for about 8 years all over the world. Kind of a rock and roll punk rock thing. We toured with Ramones and Green Day and Offspring and Kiss and Social Distortion and L7, and we had a lot of fun. But the world, I don't think, fully understood us. We were misunderstood in a lot of places. I think, the fans that liked it loved it, but there wasn't tons of them. And nobody really listened to my lyrics. It was, I cared about my songs, but it was more about the shoes and the makeup and the hair and the mosh pit. And it really wasn't so much about the substance. So when I got a chance to be a solo artist, I was able to strip it down and have it be just more about the material and the lyrics and the songs. So it was frustrating, but D-Generation was a fun time, and I still do it occasionally. Again, we have a new record coming out in June, July of this year, 2016. Same 5 guys, and it's our first record since '99.
Okay, I'll be checking that.
Yeah.
So how did you get the courage to live with the insecurity of saying, like, I'm gonna just quit my job, leave, get on the road, and play my music?
I started playing music at like 12 or 13 and started playing clubs like CBGB's when I was really young, and went on tours in the hardcore days with bands. People were adults, older people, but my first record came out, God Is Dead, Heart Attack, my first band when I was 14. So this has been going. I always seem to get a record deal. I know record companies don't really support the artist in so much anymore, and it's not the business in the same way. But I was lucky to come up in a time where labels were able to fund a lot of projects and support my records and pay for stuff and give me the promotion and get me on the road. I could build up a fan base, and now it's there. And so some days are hard. Some towns aren't huge and packed, and some shows are. But I could go pretty much anywhere in Europe or in England or parts of America and have an audience there and have a beer and a meal and get paid and have somewhere to stay and people that want to hear what I have to say. So it's still scary at times because you have to fully immerse yourself in this. It's not like a part-time job at this point. It's what I do, but I need to do it. So
Yeah, well, I think you're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, I appreciate being that. I don't have to go to some job that I hate,
Mm-hmm.
But there are days when you're sitting in this town here in Belgium and you can't get anything good to eat, and there's nothing nearby without a 40-pound cab, and just sitting in a parking lot for 25 hours or something. But when you get to the show, it makes it worth it. So,
Yeah,
hopefully.
it will. Someone once called me an outsider, and I don't really care about being different. I think it's okay to be different. But it's in the way that he said it that made me feel really bad about myself, like there was something wrong with me. Do you care what people say about you?
I'd like to say no and just believe that people that care about me and myself, but sometimes we can be sensitive. Depends what kind of mood I'm in, but I feel that you have to read your press. Sometimes people love you. Sometimes you work on something that's so close to your heart, and then someone tears it apart in some article. And you gotta get thick skin and realize that it's just one opinion, and opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. But I always felt like an outsider growing up, and I was felt that music, especially punk rock, spoke to me and said that it's okay to be different and it's okay to be, you know, alone. It's okay to feel these things, and maybe you aren't alone. Maybe there are people that think like this and accept this. And you know, someone like David Bowie came out in the '70s. He just died, but like he must have said to so many people, like it's okay to be like a freak, or you know, let that fly. Like be yourself. And in the end, if you can do that, I think you'll be happier. So,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
think
not
so.
easy. And you have to battle a lot of stuff to get there.
What are some of the things people say about you?
Well, I don't know. Some people say nice things and they get it and they understand where I'm coming from with the songs, and some people think that it's, you know, bullshit and, you know, don't believe what I say or don't want to, you know, they maybe don't like my voice or they don't like, you know, my songs or my guitar playing, or the way I look, my nose, my sneakers, my expertise, my moves. I mean, you know, people are going to say a mix of stuff, and like I said, you know, a lot of artists will say, don't read your own press, but sometimes it's hard not to want to see the Uncut magazine or Mojo is saying, or the New York Times, or, you know, and also if you read your press and it's all good, you can get really inflated, but it is important to have people, I think, support you and find some kind of feedback that's positive, because it helps when you get somebody you respect tell you something, or you know, it gives you an empowerment to feel like, wow, I can do this, and then you go and write maybe 3 more songs or 30 more songs. So, you know, it's like anybody wants that from their family or from, you know, their, I don't know, their peers and stuff. But sometimes you have to stand alone. Fuck you. And I think punk rock really taught me and my friends that it's like, you know what, fuck it, never give up. So.
I also think punk rockers are more open-minded. They wouldn't just tell you like it's not okay to be different. And
It depends. You know, there's punk rockers that can be very judgmental. I was like that once.
Okay.
If you have leather on, or if you eat meat, you're not anarchist if you do this, and you know. But you have to accept people and accept that they're different and live as an example for yourself, but not trying to like, make everybody be exactly like you. That would be pretty boring. So.
Yeah, someone told me having those bad experiences, it creates empathy. Do you agree?
I think that, you know, hard times in life, you can turn that into something, what do they say, give you lemons, make lemonade or something, or have some tequila. I think, you know, tragedy plus time is comedy for some people. But things that are intense and bad, if you can draw upon them and survive them and maybe talk about them and sing about them, it takes some of the venom out, and to be able to share those experiences, and those are interesting stories, you know. Makes you who you are. If you have just a clean, safe, plastic life with no character in it, then it's not going to be that interesting.
And no one's going to remember.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, during this interview, I found out that you're an honest person, and it is important. You have an important and amazing quality in your personality, and it's hard to find that in people. Have you always been like that, or is it something that has grown on you, something that you developed when you grew older?
I don't know. I couldn't. I'd have to be in some kind of psychological analysis to know. But you know, I love talking to good people like yourself. You seem really open and nice, and to talk about music and sit here and, you know, this is what we do. I mean, if I had to do this every hour all day, I might have to make up stupid answers just to entertain myself. But you're the first interview today, and you know, you say you don't want to do this. Sometimes our artists get jaded, like, I don't want to talk to a journalist, and we've been doing all these interviews for Spain. But on the other hand, you know, we're out here to get heard, get our music out there, get the message, what we're singing out to people. And I'm a fan. I still buy the magazines and read the interviews with, you know, whatever, and, you know, artists that I like, and I read the books and the biographies, and, you know, sometimes you get something out of that. I think seeing parallels, or there's lessons in it. So, I don't know. I just like to be as open, and I'm a blabbermouth. He's a blabbermouth.
Well, I think this has been an amazing interview, at least for me. Is there anything else you would like to talk about?
No, I think you covered most of it. I mean, I'm glad you're going to see the show tonight, and that we're in a place that I've never played. I've never played this down before. I've been to Belgium a bunch. This is the Outsiders Tour. It's 2016, oh my God. And yeah, we're midway through this tour. We got another 2.5 weeks. And I think once you get through the first half, it just starts to get kind of fast. But we moved really fast through the UK. Those dates and those audiences are really good. A couple of these ones will be interesting. And we'll see what tonight brings. But I've heard great things about this club. And I'm happy to have a guitar and a suitcase and go around the world and have fun and do these bits.
Well, I wish you the best with your concert tonight, and thank you so much for this interview.